Howdy y'all, and welcome to another episode of the Brown Circus. So today we're going to give you an update on some of Lisa's health and things that we've had happen over the past month. We know it's been a little while since the last update, and we do apologize for that. We definitely want to try to make sure that everybody is aware of what's going on. We just had a lot going on this month. So we're going to walk you through some of that and try to explain it the best that we can. Hopefully it all makes sense. And with that, I'm going to pass it over to Lisa. Lisa, take it away.
Chris mentioned it has been a month since we last provided an update, and a lot has happened since then. When we last shared the news, we were still awaiting to see if I would be going down the chemo or hormone therapy route. I also had started a new blood thinner medication, which is called warfarin or Coumadin. When taking this medication, you have to have an INR reading on a regular basis. An INR stands for International Normalized Ratio, which is testing your blood level to ensure you're within range when on this medication. Mine was high each time I had it checked. I sat steady at an 8, and a normal range when on this blood thinner is no higher than a 3. So I would be asked to stop the dosage, start it again, lower the dosage, and start it again. On September 21st, when going to get my INR, I was telling Dr. Kunta how my medication still had not been approved. And one thing I think that we've definitely learned through my last journey and this one is that the insurance approval and the back and forth between providers is an absolute nightmare. But that may have to be a video on its own. So Dr. Kunta had his office bring together samples so that I could start the medication that day. The first was a shot called Zoladex, which I will get every 28 days, which will need to take place in the office. Then I'm on letrozole and Kisqali. These are taken daily, except Kisqali is every 21 days, you stop for 7, and then back again for 21. On day 2 of taking this medication, I started to get back pain.
Oh, my back.
I called the office, they told me to take Tylenol, and if it didn't work, to call back. On Friday, which just happened to also be my birthday, I woke up with having blood in my urine, and obviously this was not normal. I called the office that morning and was asked to come in. Dr. Kunta had them do an INR reading, and the machine kept erroring out. They did this 3 separate times, so they had to end up doing blood samples and send it in. I also had to do a urine sample, and they were all in shock when they saw it.
Hey there, future Chris here. While editing this part, there was really no good picture to put here, so just use your imagination.
Dr. Kunta gave me a prescription for a vitamin K tablet, which would help clear it up. And I asked, what if it doesn't? What would my next steps be since we were going into the weekend? He had stated it would be an ER visit in order to get frozen plasma. So Saturday, I was dropped off to check myself into the ER, and not only had blood been there, but there were also clots as well. I was admitted and placed in the observation area of the hospital. I was given 2 units of frozen plasma, and I have to give a big shout out to Jack at the hospital. He was the same nurse that I had when I fell and hit my head, and he was just absolutely amazing. Very informative, shared all of my results, and was just overall caring. Before getting discharged, I had to see a urologist, my primary, and Dr. Kunta. So late Sunday evening, I was sent home. My back pain was no more, and the CT scan showed that I potentially passed a kidney stone. There were also signs of cysts on my ovaries and uterus, but those are pretty normal. This past Thursday, Dr. Kunta called and once again was very apologetic that he placed me on warfarin and having to go to the hospital over my birthday weekend. And he wanted me to start back on Eliquis. And he told me to hold off taking Eliquis until Monday when I would be back in his office for my iron infusion. That evening, I became very pale and weak. By Friday mid-morning, I was in horrible pain. I couldn't move and I kept throwing up. Chris had to call 911 for me to be transported back to the hospital. And after receiving morphine, I was taken for an ultrasound and a CT scan. Reviewing the scans, I had cysts that were smaller than the scan the previous week, and they believe it was due to rupturing. So after receiving another 2 units of frozen plasma and a blood transfusion, I was released once again after seeing a urologist, my primary, and my OBGYN. I'm currently no longer on warfarin, thankfully, and there are no plans of me returning to that medication. I spent most of yesterday at my OBGYN's office to ensure that there's nothing else going on with the cyst. So right now at this time, we're just monitoring to ensure it doesn't grow. If it does, then we may have to go down the road of surgery, but we're gonna wait and see what happens. I am currently on leave from work, and although a tough decision to make, I'm so thankful that I'm able to focus on my health and my family, as this has been definitely a rocky start thus far. We want to thank you all again for your continued support, either through donations, cards, prayers, texts, phone calls, or even video messages from kayaks in the ocean. This month is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and I've been sharing daily facts around metastatic breast cancer on my personal Facebook page. Before being diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer, I, like many of you, are also familiar with the pink ribbons to show support. But metastatic breast cancer is not pink. Our ribbon is green, teal, and pink. October 13th is dedicated to metastatic breast cancer, and this year, over 150 landmarks across the world will be lighting up green, teal, and pink. If you're interested in learning more about Stage 4, please visit metaviver.org. This organization provides 100% of their donations to support research for those with Stage 4. If you are wanting to donate or purchase anything with a pink ribbon, I just ask that you do your research first and to ensure it is going towards an organization that is looking to find a cure. And don't hesitate to ask if proceeds are going to an organization before purchasing.
Nicely done, honey. Thank you very much. That was an excellent update. Didn't she do a good job? I know Lisa struggles with being able to openly talk about some of this stuff sometimes, but I think she did a really good job. Thank you to everybody for watching. There is one final thing, if we could just ask. If you previously shared our video, would you please share it again with whoever you did? And the reason that we ask is there have been a lot of views for that video, and we know that there are people watching that we don't know, which means that's you guys that have been sharing our story with other people. And we just want to make sure that everybody who either wants to know is getting an update, or more importantly, if there are other people that are going through this, and if our videos help or Lisa's story helps in any way, whether it be someone else hearing what she's going through, or somebody else who's a family member that's having to go through it as well. That's really one of the things that we're trying to do with this, is just share our experience and sometimes make this sometimes lonely journey feel more like a community. And I know, Lisa knows, the girls know that you guys have been a big part of making this more of a community feel to it, so we thank you. So if you've shared this video before, please share it again. All right, and with that, thank you, take care, and we'll see you again real soon.
Receiving morphine.
Wait, Morphin Power Rangers! It's morphin time!
Morphine.
Breast cancer!
Stop it. Laughing. This isn't a laughing matter. I can't stop laughing. Oh. I got the giggles.
You know it's the Pink Ranger though, right? Like,
yeah.
That's the one it
It's
is.
totally it. Mighty Morphin. Morphine.